on, and these players are on the field ready to roll. It's Waterdogs, Whipsnakes to kick off week 5 of the 2023 PLL season. Jake Marsh, Paul Carcaterra, Dana Boyle down on the sidelines. We apologize for the delayed start. The venue lost power, but we're back and we are ready to roll as Whipsnakes maintain first. But first, Carc, let's begin with Waterdogs. Defending champions got their rings a few minutes ago, and they're in a perfect position to get back in a sweet spot for the postseason.
I love their pieces. You obviously have the stars like Michael Sowers and Kieran McCardle, but it's what they're doing in the specialty heat of Dordovics.
I was going to say, that better be the only reason he's wearing sweatpants in this weather right now. It is toasty.
He never goes to shorts, and the way he wears his sweats is classic, too. It looks like a black pair of khakis.
Yes.
Definitely elastics by the ankles, old school.
Totally old school.
I love it.
So Whipsnakes on the board first, 5 minutes in. Took a lot of effort to beat Dylan Ward. And that one,
On vision and IQ, you have Will Manning.
and that is your Whipsnakes starting lineup, powered by Ticketmaster. 7 minutes into this opening quarter. Waterdogs won, Whipsnakes won. 6th overall meeting between these two teams. The last 3 meetings have all been 1-goal games. So if history repeats itself, we'll have another close one. Another save by Bernlor, and the shot by...
Expecting not to have a face-off specialist in this game. They have the worst face-off winning percentage in the league, but the team that wins it only has 32 seconds to muster up some offense. And the way that this Waterdogs defense has been playing, when they get the ball on the return, it's 52 seconds. So it's a little chess game by Andy Copeland.
Yeah, that's a new rule installed by the PLL this season as Ward gobbles up his 8th save.
Throws the defense, Jake. Everyone thought Rambo was wide open. He played that little cat and mouse game to get the defense thinking he might get it to Rambo.
And that goal's got to feel good for Will Manny, the veteran. Last week, in the loss to Archers, he was 0 of 6 shooting. That was his first game with no goal this season.
He passed really well, though. He had 3 assists in that game. And Mike Chanachuk is bringing the goods.
He just sort of completes the offense, and talking to Coach Stagnita, he said, we didn't have any flow last week in Minneapolis. And I think a big part of that is having Matt Rambo back, take some of the pressure off, but they're their best when all the Whipsnakes players are moving the ball with some heat.
12 minutes down here from Fairfield, and Whipsnakes look loose and ready. They need some momentum heading to the All-Star break. After 11 years on this turf, he said he knows how much the sport of lacrosse means to this area. You're Connecticut guy too, Carc. This is great, a sold-out crowd here.
Arpello's in transition. When Conrad's in the lineup, he's in transition. And obviously Zach Curry, who they're putting at the stripe because he's so good at playing defense. So if Lasalla gets the ball, Courier can harass him. And if he gets the ball back, he's rewarded with 52 seconds. So that's part of that chess match at the stripe with Andy Copeland.
And Carc, too, no.
1 goal, 2 assists for Zed Williams. He's been one of the main focal points of the offense so far this evening. And it's now 8-1 in favor of Whipsnakes at the face-off.
It's 8-1, but let's see how they handle this, right?
Turnover.
Waterdogs pressure. So Petey Lasalla wins that face-off. By the time they're settled, it's going to be around like 18, 16 seconds. The Waterdogs play pressure. Look what they have left on the clock right now.
Yep.
They're going to cross the midline at 46 seconds. Do the math. After that empty net goal.
And Carc, as a teammate, mentally after watching what you just watched, you saw the faces of Whipsnakes. How do you get your mind back on the lacrosse being played right now?
It's tough, especially when you have a teammate like Kyle Bernler, who's so important on the field and in the locker room, but the fact that he's walking 1 foot, his left foot, and then extends his body up the field.
And his stick protection, too, Carc. I was on the sidelines, and he's putting baby powder on the portion of his shaft that's wrapped in tape, and I asked him, why are you doing that? And he told me that it's because when it's humid, your hands stick to the shaft, the part that's taped, so the baby powder allows him to move his hands up and down and change his angles. I've never seen that before.
Well, you saw the hands slide on the shaft.
Right.
This, and Jack Hanna right there, almost like if you're using a wedge, right? You don't follow through all the way.
Yep.
That's what he did on that shot, and that, I think, really threw Phipps off.
Tell you what, I could use some help with my short game, so I might have to look at Jack Hanna's highlights. Maybe that'll help me go up and down more often than not. Tie ball game, 2 minutes to go in the first half. Here from Fairfield.
And Charlie Hayes. Charlie Hayes has no shot at 5'11", 187, dealing with 6'3", 235.
Here's a Hail Mary. And that's how the first half ends. So Waterdogs control the majority of the second quarter.
Brian Phipps is in his mid-30s. He was an All-American netminder at Maryland. He's seen a lot of rubber in his days. And Petey Lasalla flipping the script from a week ago where he struggled against rookie Michael Sisselberger. Today, Lasalla has 13 face-off wins to the Waterdogs 1.
Yeah, last week, 4 of 18 for the rookie Petey Lasalla.
Everyone know, you make me go left, you will pay.
That was a big point of emphasis coming out of the locker room, Kark, for Coach Copeland and the Waterdogs. He wants the ball more in the stick of Michael Sowers and Kieran McCardle, and it doesn't mean you have to start with the ball, but he wants them to end with it. And on the defensive end, they're going to trust Liam Burns on Zed Williams. They're not going to make that mistake they made at the end of the second quarter, letting his hands get free.
What's critical there is not switching on the picks, too. You got to fight through those picks.
Rambo hits the pipe.
You want to keep your matchup to pick it off. If he does not pick it off, he is completely out of position.
Huge gamble, to say the least. First goal for Ethan Walker, first lead of the night for the defending champion Waterdogs Lacrosse Club. It's ring night for the Waterdogs. They received their bling on the field before the game. Kieran McCardle with the assist on that goal. That was his third of the night.
So Lasalla subs off, and it's 18 seconds. And the placement on that shot, the upper left on a righty goalie.
A hat trick for Zed Williams, 3 goals, 2 assists, and a team high 10 shots. So he's certainly getting his run in midway through this third quarter. Cannon Shuck, that was a laser.
Yeah, there's something different about that shot, right? You're like, he's not gonna be able to get a shot off there. When you're all wrists, you can get that shot off.
All right, thank you to Kieran McCardle, leading the Waterdogs in points right now. He has 1 goal, 3 assists.
Stylistically, I was asking about the 2 goalies. They just shoot. Well, one is a lefty, one is a righty. That's for starters, right? You got to dictate in terms of when you're driving down the pipe, their strength. Stylistically, both of these goalies are very different in terms of Kyle Bernlohr and Brian Phipps, although they both went to Maryland. So many tools. I would be surprised if he doesn't make the next USA national team. I think his trajectory and the way that he plays, his shooting ability, he's such a volume shooter. He can hammer it from different release points. You saw that second shot. That was a 3-quarter release. The shot earlier in the second quarter was like a pitching wedge. Where
seconds for the defending champion Waterdogs as Jake Caraway joins the scoring party. 10-7 in favor of the team in purple.
No Connor Kelly. Who do you need to deliver? You need Caraway, you need Hanna. Who scored the last 2 goals? Dana's with jumpiness in the net. He trusts his technique, he trusts his angles, and he's so calm before his initial step. You know, Dordovic leads the league in shots as a rookie. I mean, a lot of times
leads Whipsnakes today in shots, in goals, in touches, in passes, in assists. We don't need to say more.
He's like a power forward in basketball. And what's so interesting is he played with a long pole in the World Championships, and I asked him what perspective.
Shoney in San Diego in the World Championships. He's everything you want in a lacrosse player.
Yeah, Zed Williams, the player spotlight presented by Champion. What moves you? He knows a thing or two about being a champion. This team down by 1 right now as we embark on this 4th quarter journey. Keep in mind, the last 3 times these 2 teams have played, it has been a 1-goal game. We're on track for that once again.
Well, this is what the Whips won. That is next level elite lacrosse play.
5 goals for Zed Williams tonight. entering this evening. 5 goals on the entire season. 5th tie of this game with 10.5 remaining in regulation. Off the face-off, another goal! Connor Kirst gives Whipsnakes the lead.
I said earlier, you have to find early offense off of a face-off win. This is perfection. Lasalla wins the face, and it's tic-tac-toe. He wins the draw. His head's up right away, and then the substitution, or the ability to switch with him staying back and a defender going over. Coach Staggs has drawn up some plays today that just make you scratch your head and say, wow, this man knows how to coach. This man knows how to coach. Because when you win a face-off, you better get used to playing offense in a hurry. And you could be very technical in that approach, and that was a drawn-up play. That one 100% was a drawn-up play.
Coach Staggs knows a thing or two about winning a championship, winning 2 titles with this Whipsnakes.
State of Connecticut. Dan's boys are part of that program. His daughter's part of that program, and he is a lax lover.
He does a great job with ESPN's NFL coverage. In the building here at a sold-out Fairfield crowd who just witnessed that insane kick.
In the middle of the flow, he uses the bouncer there. That is a smart young lacrosse player who knows how to play tricks on a goalie with deception and varied release points.
Coming into tonight, Waterdogs had 5 2-point goals. That was tied for 2nd in the league. 4 of them are from Connor Kelly, who's out. Jade Caraway had 1. Jack Hanna with his first of the season. That's the first 2-point goal from either side.
And yes, they are beautiful.
Very nice piece of jewelry. Now added to Andy Copeland and his team's collection, and they are on a mission to get another one. A win here will put them in first place at 4-1. They lead by 1 with 6.5 to go. They lead by 2 with 6.5 to go. Kieran McArdle, 2 goals, 5 assists.
He's been dealing all afternoon and early evening. As the sun sets in Fairfield, Connecticut, McArdle has X-ray vision as a passer, and this time he's the recipient. The patience, just like Thomas McArdle. If you could take the extra beat, you freeze the goalie with a fake, and there's so much more net to look at. Kieran McArdle realizes that this has been a game of runs heading into the 4th quarter. The Whips are down by a couple, then they go up. The Waterdogs counter. These games, the PLL in 2023, every single one I call is down to the wire.
This one on track for that as well. It's Waterdogs by a pair midway through this 4th quarter. They've scored 4 in a row in the last 2 minutes.
The long hair, you see former Michigan great midfielder, and when he gets back into the lineup, potentially later in the season, you get another athlete between the lines.
Michael Sowers with the assist there. 5 in a row for the Waterdogs. Timeout Jim Staggs in this 4th quarter. He only had 1 goal on the season coming into today. The rookie out of Virginia and Vermont, as you mentioned. 2 minutes to go, a 4-point game. And it's desperation time for Whipsnakes.
And that first line is normally Hannah out there. So it's just, you're seeing the depth. And you're seeing all the options they have offensively, like Connor. Take a look at this replay. The defense is actually perfect. If you want to get beat, that's where you want to get beat. Scarpello was so aggressive outside of the 2-point line. And the fact that he gets beat in front of the 2-point line, it's no sweat. That's just the reality of it.
Right, so now Petey Lasalla at the face-off X. He's 126 of 30, but with only 10 seconds left, another whistle. It's going back to the Dogs on the violation. So we think. as the officials will now huddle.
Should be white ball.
All right, clock's gonna run, and that'll do it. Ring night for Waterdogs. A complete success. They get their bling, they get a win, as the Dogs head into the All-Star break in first place.
Started with a power outage for us, but there was plenty of electricity once we got back and going. And the Waterdogs, the 2022 champs,